You have reached the channel, River of Living Water Revival School, and thank you for tuning in this day. This day, I would like to share with you a short video concerning a portion of my Shabbat, a portion of my garden which was covered by a carpet weed, very bad carpet weed. And at one point, I was so discouraged, and I thought I would just leave that portion to become a bush. But because it had rained and the ground was a bit soft, I realized after all it was easy to uproot the weed. And when I was halfway uprooting the weed, the Holy Spirit reminded me of Isaiah chapter 5, which talks about God's choicest grapevine garden, where he had planted choice grape seeds, but the garden gave him bad grapes. And God, at one point, felt that he should remove the hedge so that the garden, his choicest garden, could be trampled on by wild animals. And his choicest garden was the people of Judah. Welcome. This is my Shabbat. This is my Shabbat that is full, completely covered with weed. It has such a very bad type of weed. This type of weed. This weed. It's a very bad type of weed. See how it has covered the ground. Nothing grew. Even the good weed, my Shabbat doesn't have. It doesn't have the good weed. My whole Shabbat is covered with all weed. What do I do with this Shabbat? I come and look at it when the rains have fallen, and then I wonder, do I just leave it? It's too much. It's too much work. There is nothing coming out of it. Am I going to spend money to get it cleaned? Or what am I going to do it? Should I just throw it away? Should I just leave it to grow in the weed and to get lost in the weed? And today, as I uproot the weed, the Lord reminded me of his garden in Isaiah 5, in his beautiful vineyard. His beautiful vineyard that brought him nothing, that he had tended so well and planted choice vines, grapevines. And the vineyard did not give him good fruit. It did not give him good fruit. And he said, what will I do with this vineyard? What will I do with this vineyard? Will I open up the hedge and allow it to be eaten by wild animals, to be ransacked by wild animals? And this is the situation in which my Shabbat is this day. And at this time the Lord is reminding me that his church is full of weeds. That his church is full of weeds. Is he going to uproot the weeds? Is he going to uproot the weeds? Or is he going to remove the hedge and allow the wild animals to come and pull down and destroy his beautiful garden? And it is at this point that I said, wow, I had not looked at it that way. I was just in the aim of reclaiming my Shabbat that has been overrun and invaded by this carpet weed. By this carpet weed. I'm struggling to pull it up, but it is easy now because it has rained and it is wet. My Shabbat is full of this carpet weed. And I was just coming to clean it up because it's a bit soft. But at times we don't know
When we do things, it is the Lord who guides us to do some things because of his own purpose and his own intention and what he is speaking to us. And this day, I am reclaiming my Shabbat. I'm reclaiming my Shabbat from this infestation of this dangerous carpetweed. The choice vines are the people of Israel, and the vineyard is the garden of Israel. And today he's reminding me that his church is full of weeds, is full of dangerous weeds. Will he remove the weeds? Will he remove the weeds? Or will he allow his garden to be destroyed? Or will he throw his garden away?
Thank you for tuning in this day. Let us listen to God's choicest grapevine garden as recorded in Isaiah chapter 5, verse 1 to 7. I'm reading from NIV. I will sing for the one I love a song about his vineyard. My loved one had a vineyard on a fertile hillside. He dug it up and cleared it of stones and planted it with the choicest vines. He built a watchtower in it and cut out a winepress as well. Then he looked for a crop of good grapes, but it yielded only bad fruit. Now, you dwellers in Jerusalem and men of Judah, judge between me and my vineyard. What more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done for it? When I looked for good grapes, why did it yield only bad? Now I will tell you what I'm going to do to my vineyard. I will take away its hedge, and it will be destroyed. I will break down its wall, and it will be trampled. I will make it a wasteland, neither pruned nor cultivated, and briars and thorns will grow there. I will command the clouds not to rain on it. The vineyard of the Lord Almighty is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah are the garden of his delight. And he looked for justice, but saw bloodshed, for righteousness, but heard cries of distress. And the men of Judah are the garden of his delight. We may say in this age that the church of Jesus Christ are the garden, the people of the church of Jesus Christ are the garden of God's delight. The Christian race is the garden of God's delight. And God, as God expected, good returns from the house of Israel and the house of Judah, as God expected choicest grapes from his choicest vineyard, so does God expect choicest grapes from his choicest vineyard, which is the race, the Christian's race, which is the garden of God's delight. And we must say that in this age, the people who have experienced the redeeming work of Jesus Christ, a lot of internal work, supernatural work has been carried out within their being. A lot has been invested in us as Christians. A lot of time has been invested by God and the Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ. A lot of word has been written within us. A lot of cleansing and healing has been worked out within us. A lot of regeneration has been carried out within our internal system and within our being. And God has given us gifts and written new mandates. He has written new assignment within us. He has renewed our identity so that with confidence, we are sure and we know who we are. And with that power of the identity, God expects us to deliver for him. Remember when Jesus said that greater things than this you will also do. And he also said that if you have faith as little as a mustard seed, we will command this mountain to move and it will be moved. So there is a lot of skills and a lot of training and a lot of new work that has been done within us that God expects his choicest garden, which is the race, the Christian race, to produce choicest fruits. And Jesus in John chapter 15 said that God expects us to produce works, to produce fruits which last, so that we may glorify his name. So it is upon you as a Christian, it is upon me as a Christian, it is upon every Christian in the whole world at this time, especially this season which is marked by the COVID disease. It's a time of judgment, and judgment is falling on everybody. Judgment is falling on the Christian race and even those who don't know Jesus Christ. And it is time for us to search ourselves and ask ourselves, have we carried out our mandate? Have we carried out the assignment? Have we arisen to work out the assignment so that God may harvest a fruit within us? May God greatly bless you, and may he empower you to arise and do what he has mandated you to do.